President William Ruto, in a cryptic message, is asking his deputy Rigathi to consider stepping down moving forward for a woman running mate ahead of 2027 general election. And the president, who was speaking in a G7 conference launch, which is a body that is bringing together all the women governors in this country, is saying that in the spirit of two-thirds gender rule, or rather supporting women, starting from the presidential ticket all the way to the governors, they are saying that if the president is a man, the running mate should be a woman. And should that be adopted across the political divide? And the same to the governors, that if a governor is a man, the running mate should be a woman. And if the ticket holder is a woman, then the deputy must be a man. This is a hot debate. And as I want to say, things don't just happen. Politicians sometimes don't just make statements out of the way. I've seen a couple of media outlets just carrying that snippet of William Ruto speaking about it. But I want to play for you a video. I wanted to listen to what the president said in the build-up to that statement, because I want to believe that he was actually speaking of from a prepared point of view, an event that was not even attended by his deputy. I would be more interested to see how the Deputy President Rigathi will react when he listens to his boss, Ruto, talking about that political development.
Despite that we have few women elected, majority of voters in Kenya are women. So there is no doubt as to whether women participate in politics or not, because they do. But now it is time for us to move it a notch higher, that women should not only participate in terms of being voters, they should participate in terms of being candidates and in being elected as leaders. And it is not just politically correct to say we should have women leaders. It is the constitutional thing to do, and it is the moral imperative that we must aspire to achieve. And therefore, when I was requested by these great ladies to participate in this launch of G7, the great 7 women governor leaders in Kenya, to the people of Kenya to accelerate interventions to actualize the constitutional gender inclusion threshold and pursue radical imaginative strategies towards this end, and to significantly enhance financial inclusion of women, among other efforts. And let me say this. When I did a memorandum to Parliament, I did not do it for political correctness. It is because I had made a commitment to the women in Kenya Kwanza that we would finally do something about this two-third gender rule. And it has been a back and forth for now over 10 years. I want to commit to the women of Kenya that this time round, we will make sure that the two-third gender rule is a thing. And the exercise that is going on in Parliament, the NADCO report, now includes what Aisha Juma and her team have been doing. And the commitment I made is that for the 290 seats, at the very minimum, we must have at least 1/3 being women. Now, I know there is a lot of calculus and mathematics and interpretations and what, but in the bill that is going to go to Parliament, we will make sure that at least more women, and hopefully we can do this by next year, more women get to leadership in Parliament. And my instructions are very clear to Kimani Ichung'wah, who is the leader of majority in the National Assembly, and the PG of our Kenya Kwanza team, that will be the official position of the party. And we have talked to many leaders, especially men. And I can tell you, ladies, for the first time, I see that men are committed to making sure that this time round, we succeed in actualizing the 2/3 gender rule in the frame that we have set. And I want to ask women leaders, I know you may want higher numbers, but we can do it, you know, we can do it progressively. Let us get what we think is attainable now. You guys know what you need to do. We can then take it to the next level, and then take it to the next level, and finally get it to 50-50. Let me also say the following. Cecily Mbarire is the chair of UDA, not by default. It is deliberate and it is intentional. And one of the assignments she has is that we must, as a party, lead from the front, and we must make it in the rules, Madam Cecily Mbarire, that when Rigathi and myself tukifika hapo mbele na tumepangana, tumekubaliana vile itaenda, we must also agree that going forward, if a man is a candidate for president in our party, the woman must be the runner. And if a woman is the candidate, then a man can be a running mate. Okay? And we must also cascade it down to the governors. So, and we must be intentional and deliberate about it, otherwise it will never happen. And I know fellow party leaders in other parties will agree with us, because we all agree, because I'm sure the party leader in Wiper supported Wavinya, the party leader in ODM supported Gladys, and all the other party leaders supported their women candidates. So we will do this not because we want to do anything against men, but we want to balance so that we all move together.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is very clear that this is not something that is going to be a welcome call for the deputy president, because what the deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, believes that it is his turn after President Ruto, and again in 2027 he has to be the running mate. And truth be said, if the deputy president, if Rigathi Gachagua is not handed over the running mate position, which other position do you think can be given? The only option available for him is also himself to go to the ballot and pick a woman running mate and seek presidency. He cannot go back to vie as a governor, neither can he go back to vie as a senator or as an MP. The rank, the level in which he has arrived, he has reached, he cannot even be a minister. The only position remaining is for him to be president or become a deputy president again. Even though he's saying that that should be an internal UDA affair, but it's because he's the president of the country, it is not just a roadside talk. And I know very well that contrary to the reports about Martha Karua failing to, there have been a lot of talks about the impact of Martha Karua on that Raila's ticket in 2022, and many have simply narrowed down to Mount Kenya. But a very clear and objective outlook of the impact of Martha Karua in that Raila Odinga's ticket cannot be underestimated, because for the first time the country was, there was that anxiety of the country getting first deputy president, first woman deputy president. And I've always been saying that I think even William Ruto might have sat down and realized that the level of women participation in the last general election was high. And that is what Ruto has also said there, that realized that many women voted for them. The number of women that participated in the last general election was higher compared to previous elections. Why? Probably it is because of the presence of Martha Karua in that presidential ticket. And so, in 2027, there are so many other factors that are at play, and one of them will be a low turnout, or rather will be a turnout. And that is why this is emerging. I just want to play for you a soundbite of Martha Karua speaking in Narok. And you could see, there is no difference. It's like, she's just like the other male candidates.
Rais Kibaki alifanya kazi ya barabara, akanyorosha, akachora michoro ile mnaona yote kwa town zetu kubwa na barabara kuu. Akatambulika Afrika nzima. Leo hii yeye ni mshauri wa bara la Afrika mambo ya infrastructure. Wengine wamepata nafasi kwa serikali, hawajapata sifa hata kwa kijiji. Kila wanapopitia ni duru ya ufisadi. Mimi nawaomba, usipoteze ukichagua mfisadi, akipora pesa yako, hautapata huduma yeyote. Na sababu najua Narok mko kabila zote, mtaniruhusu niseme kilugha kidogo. Adoito mwekuo. Damwera mama, motigaite tukionoria. Mumenye ihinda riri Centro yothe kana Mount Kenya yothe yugete rais wa tano atakuwa ni Raila Amolo Odinga. Kila mahali nimetembea kutoka Mlima Kenya na Kenya yote, Wakenya wote wamekubaliana rais wa tano ni Raila Amolo. Usije kudanganywa ya kwamba Mlima Kenya imesema kitu ingine. Wiki hii ambayo nilipatiwa heshima ya kuwa mgombea mwenza, nimekuwa kule. Tumezungumza na watu na tutaendelea kuzungumza, na vile niliona wakifurahia vile nimewaona hapa, ujue mambo imegeuka. Kama wewe ulikuwa umelemea kule toka Misri kuja upande wa Canaan, na tunasema kama wewe hukubaliani nami, mimi nasema ni haki yako kuwa na maono tofauti, lakini nipatie tu masikio tuzungumze kidogo. Niko na uhakika ukikata shauri kwa haki, tukiongea mara mbili mara tatu, Kenya yote itasema kwa kauli moja, rais wa tano awe ni Raila Amolo Odinga. Ukiona timu yake ni ya wachapakazi peke yake. Ukiangalia hapa mbele utaona ni wachapakazi, sio watu wa mchezo. Ukiangalia timu hizo mbili, timu ya kuaminika ni moja peke yake, na ni timu ya kinara wetu Raila Amolo Odinga. Usipoteze kura na watu ambao hawaaminiki hata kwa vijiji vyao. Tafadhali wana Narok, mkiwa nyote pamoja, sauti iwe ni moja na ni Azimio. Sasa nikisema Azimio tuseme aje? Azimio! Azimio! Maisha bora inawezekana. Maisha bora, ajira kwa vijana, maji kwa kila Mkenya, maslahi ya wamama, maslahi ya wababa. Azimio iko kitu kwa kila mtu. Sasa tuonyeshe kura ni za baba Raila Amolo Odinga. Asanteni sana Narok, mubarikiwa na tutaende.
So, that is why I'm saying, guys, these things are not just happening in a vacuum. President Ruto is looking at all avenues to maximize the turnout, because they can't, you must get other things that might excite the public to go and vote. Number two, this statement is not just coming out of the moon. You know why? Aisha Jumwa, who is a minister in charge of gender affairs, has met two leaders. Just in a span of 1 week, she has met Raila Odinga, and on the same gender question. So many have been asking, and of course, that was last Wednesday. After that, after Ruto met Raila in Uganda, there was a question of, there is that amendment that is coming about 2/3 gender rule, and Raila was a presidential candidate. She could be pushing through the same. Aisha Jumwa also the other day met Kalonzo Musyoka, who is also Wiper party leader. And if she's talking to party leaders of those two parties, what do you think is her agenda? The big conversation is about the 2/3 gender rule, or rather, maximizing women participation. What I see here is deep, and they're just trying to create, they're preparing the ground. In fact, William Ruto is not just making a roadside statement as we're used to. On this one, he is testing the waters, and he's creating that debate. I want just to imagine, if Rigathi Gachagua was watching that statement, maybe from his Harambee House office, how did he react? He must be very depressed. He must be very annoyed, because it waters down the essence of that their unwritten law that will be your deputy in 2027. And remember, Rigathi was even absent in that meeting. The second time in a row, he's missing president's events that, according to me, are critically relevant as far as his position as the deputy president is concerned. So I want to look at that, and I want to explain more why this statement by William Ruto asking Rigathi Gachagua that moving forward they will consider picking a women running mate is not going to sit well with the DP. I want to still ask you kindly to subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and like our videos. Thank you very much for subscribing and supporting our videos, those who are sharing. We do this every day because of that, your unwavering support. And that is why this channel is at actually 62 subscribers. Straight. There's some 5 reasons why this will not sit well with the DP. Ruto he's trying waters. And the first thing is because Ruto is trying to communicate to Rigathi that DP slot in 2027 is negotiable, and many other factors are on table. If we arrive at a gender card that we need to pick a woman, then that means we'll have to drop Rigathi. And if it has to be done, then it has to be through changing the law. So that is what he's saying. What do you think Rigathi expects? Rigathi expects that in 2027, he's going to be the deputy president, he's going to be picked as the running mate, and if they make their way, he's in the ballot 2032 as a presidential candidate. It's as predictable and as simple as that. So that's first thing William Ruto is communicating. That position of the deputy president is negotiable. Number 2, Ruto is trying to pull a gender card on that presidential race. Will that change? And probably, if you pick a woman and you're sure you're not looking at the tribal kingpins and king queens, then if it is just simply picking a woman, then you don't need to go to Mount Kenya, maybe. I remember the last time when Raila picked Ruto when Raila picked Martha Karua. Ruto even, was trivializing that, and even Rigathi Gachagua and the team, all the host of Kenyan leaders were saying, the country is not looking for a deputy president, a woman deputy president. The country is looking for the person that will steer the country to economic prosperity. That is what everyone was saying. But then, as things now emerging, Ruto is pulling that gender card. And that gender card is supposed, number one, I think he's realizing that it excited voters. Number one, it excited voters. Number two, Ruto is just looking for another way to send Rigathi to political oblivion. Rigathi is heading to his political deathbed by this gender card. Because this gender card also throws a spin, if it is Mount Kenya, then it is the Anwai Gurus. It has to be Anwai Gurus. It has to be, it has to be the Cecil Mbarires, if it has to be Mount Kenya. And of course, Cecil Mbarires is going to serve a second term as a governor, so it has to be Anwai Guru. Or if it is it going to be Charity Ngilu? So there is quite a number of a different spin into it. Then, while Rigathi must tread careful, because things don't just happen. I am seeing a possibility that there could be amendments on 2/3 gender rule that would put this in the constitution. There is a high possibility, and that is why the CS Aisha Jumwa is reaching out to other political parties. There could be a clique that they might tweak with the law to introduce that spin, that in governor and president we need a zebra ticket. A man, a woman. A man, a woman. On that, the DP has to look for his own running mate and seek presidency, or become a running mate to a woman candidate. Ruto is marveling at the succession politics, because this opens a Pandora box on succession politics going on in Mount Kenya. The Mount Kenya is going to talk about what next. He's now saying he doesn't want Rigathi. Is Rigathi now going to take over? That question of succession is now going to emerge. Because the truth of the matter here is the UDA candidate is Ruto. Ruto is going to defend his second term. He's going to look for his second term. So he's the only one who has to get. There is no way you can tell us that UDA is going to pick another presidential candidate apart from William Samoei Arap Ruto. So, as there's been a debate of we don't want Rigathi, we want Ndindi Nyoro. Now Ruto has said, let's consider taking a woman running mate. This is going to take the discussion about succession politics in Mount Kenya. Lastly, I'm seeing some unity card on it, but then far-fetched. On this one, let's see how Rigathi is reacting. But I also want to get your position. What do you think Ruto is taking this time? I'll be so interested. I want to take the next 1 hour after posting this video. I want to read your comments and see what exactly is your thought on why Ruto is taking this spin. And what is the AI? By the throw your guesses. If he's thinking of a woman running mate, who can be a woman running mate to William Ruto in 2027 if that slot is available? Thank you.